Right. So I'm going to be going on a road trip by myself for a couple of hours tomorrow. And I have no plan. I'm just going. I'm going in the morning. I'll be leaving at 9. I'll probably get there a little bit before 12, something like that. And I'll have to be back to leave at 7:30 in the afternoon. And then I'll get back home at 10. And I have no itinerary. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going in a mountainy area and I'm going to be enjoying, and it's probably going to rain. It's summer, and I'm taking you with me. And I'm also reading Pale Fire, and we're going to be reviewing it hopefully together. I'm assuming I'm going to start tonight and then talk about it a little bit. And then I'm going to read tomorrow as well, especially on the road to the place, and then talk about it some more. And then probably finish while I'm at home. Yeah, I think that's a video idea. I realized I forgot to explain. I took some stuff for overnight because I'm gonna go to my mom's, because the place is closer to the bus station that I need to be at tomorrow at 9 in the morning. And if I can be early, if I can be sleeping in, that's always great for me. I am who I am. I was built for sleep. Okay, there you go. Okay, yeah, I'm stable.
Face 85.
Are 92.
Și tu și-am între ele. Anywhere in between.
Ăla nu mai divorțează?
A divorțat.
Cine? Zicea că nu știu ce, cu un coleg de serviciu, că să înțeleg că ale alea...
Așa, aia.
Zic asta.
Păi și erau divorțați atunci?
Da. A mai venit o altă, poate că la asta m-am gândit că te-ai gândit tu.
Păi înseamnă că mai vine unul.
Că ei se înțelegeau bine de mult. Că așa e, că te duce neamă și te povestești. Nu era însurat. Da, își vedea de treaba lui.
Ai văzut?
Urât. Da? Crezi că a băgat strâmbe?
Eu știu dacă nu știm de că să-l întrebăm pe el, o ai strâmbă?
Așa.
Adică n-ai alte explicații, nu. Restul doar presupunem iubire.
De obicei se strâmbă, mă, iubire, ce treacu.
Iubire, crede-mă că am văzut ce înseamnă cu adevărat strâmbă.
Da?
90% din ele nu sunt strâmbe, iubire. Dacă e să luăm etalonul pe care l-am văzut eu.
Ok.
I'm unused to this style of writing completely. Yeah, it's something. I think I like it up to now. I'm on the first pages though. Sperăm că nu mă pierd. Dacă mă pierd.
Dacă te pierzi, te regăsești. Hai, lasă-mă.
at that. A log with moss. Would you like an update on my reading process? So, this comes with a big warning. I don't usually read poetry all that much. Hello, fly. Okay. I don't usually read poetry all that much. Not because I don't want to, I just never end up reaching for it. And usually it's going to be in Romanian if I do end up reading some. However, although I will say it was a little bit weird and awkward at first because I'm just not used to the style per se, I found the writing so encapsulating and so vivid. It kind of felt like, I'm gonna try to not give spoilers, but the verses feel like little snippets of like images, and you're supposed to make a story with that, which is exactly, I guess, the purpose of it, but they're just so beautifully interlaced and woven together, and there's such a soft sorrow to the tone that actually by the second chapter that I read today on the bus, it made me tear up on the bus next to the man sitting next to me, and I was trying my very best to not tear up, and I was looking like a crazy person. But yeah, I don't know why the writing style touched me so much. I feel like it's so warm and so perfectly chosen, and I mean, the second chapter is a little bit tragic, definitely. There's some loss happening in there, and the topic kind of floats around death and what happens after death and all of that stuff. And I don't know, it's so painful yet so tender. Yeah. Pale Fire. No, e ok. Nu sunt curioasă.
Zici că până acolo poți să ajungi, la câteva 2000 trebuie neapărat pe cap.
E
Prea mare altitudine trebuie. Nici o înghețată nu vrei?
Na, stau bine, mulțumesc mult. I'm not gonna say I hate men. If I'm in a place that looks deserted, if there's any creepy guy coming through, I will implode. Cool. You like? There's less than 1 hour of this trip left, and I should slowly head back to the station to get my bus. But I will say, this is a very nice place, so if you're looking forward to visiting Romania, I highly recommend Sinaia. Maybe not by yourself if you're under 25 and a female, but you win some, you lose some. We live in a society, I guess. Yeah. I'm gonna slowly head back with my child. Ooh. Yeah, so I just finished reading Pale Fire this morning. What the fuck? It's something. You can't see the pretty. Aw. I'm sorry. It's fine. Just put it in the back. Look, okay, cool. Right. Sorry. Got distracted. So, this book was something else. It took me a little bit longer to read than I thought it would, because the structure of it is so weird and different from anything I've ever read before. However, I also got some personal delays in the meantime, and so sorry for the time it takes me. But yeah, anyways, I found this book to be absolutely fascinating, and I need to read it more than once, because here's the thing. The book starts, as I said, with a part that is poems, and then a part that is commentary. You also get to meet through the book these two fictional characters. Both of them are writers, and you see basically the poem part is written by this fictional character called John Shade, and then the commentary part on the poems, which are four. They are 4 cantos, that's what they're called. The commentary part, line by line, is done by his neighbor, whose name I'm forgetting. Charles Kinboat. Okay, cool. Yeah. So, the poetry in itself is surprisingly good. I really enjoyed it. It was, as I said back in the forest, very descriptive, very abstract, metaphorical. I didn't finish all the cantos. Some of them, interestingly, get a tiny little bit political, with a little bit of a tiny mention, which I have a bone to pick with the author, like the actual author, in saying that, art should not be political. That's funny, my guy. First of all, impossible, but also funny. Throughout the book in general. Sorry, I got derailed. Yeah, the poetry in itself has such beautiful themes, just death, mortality, memory, time, the unreliability of those, art and creativity, and everything is painted through the lens of nature and perception, and again, the passage of time. It's really, the poetry is by my very measly experience, quite nice. I enjoyed it. I really like the fact that it has this circularity to it, because the poems, I think, begin with a goldfinch and they also end with a goldfinch, which is basically this symbol, in how I interpret it, of beauty and mortality. So again, using nature as a means to describe something, yeah. Once the commentary starts, you get to understand the context of the poetry, which is that the poetry is written by this John Shade guy. And it was written as part, like, the neighbor is doing the autobiography. Girl, how could he be doing the autobiography? What? The neighbor is writing the biography of the John Shade guy. Except he also sort of turns into an unreliable narrator that you kind of get to meet throughout the pages of the commentary. He's just a disillusioned, crazy guy, an academic that takes the poems line by line and analyzes them. But you also kind of get to experience such a... It's interesting how the author managed to portray this kind of train of thought aspect, because he goes from analyzing the character that is supposed to be the narrative, goes from analyzing the poetry to starting to tell you about this fictional European kingdom of Zembla, and how he was this exiled king, and how the monarchy fell, and yeah, it's very interesting, and to kind of see him going insane throughout the pages ever so slightly about this kingdom from the past. It kind of makes you question the character and the reliability of memories and the analysis and the perception, especially as you find out that the John Shade poet guy was actually... spoiler alert! You should probably not skip if you want. Like, this is not that big of a deal, but the poet got assassinated, basically wrongfully, because the assassination was supposed to happen to this Kinboat guy. And it's just kind of crazy if you ask me, but the thing is, it can be a little bit tedious. I mean, the writing in itself can teeter on gimmicky, if you ask me, but I think it might just be because I'm not used to it, and so it made it sometimes hard to go from the poetry to the commentary that was a little bit erratic, and then there would be some intentional mistakes that are supposed to be made for you to question this Charles Kinboat guy and his interpretation of John Shade's poetry. It's art about art, which is great, but it can also be very confusing when that happens. So, do I recommend it? Yes. Do I politically align with... do I align with some of Nabokov's beliefs about art and stuff in general? No. Not at all. But I will say, this in comparison to Lolita has a whole other layer, and I do personally prefer it to Lolita, but I will say I think it's definitely it's not the most beginner-friendly book, that's for sure. And I think I need to reread it in order to actually give you even more insight into this, because it's been sort of complicated for me to read it as well. And it's really not that big of a book at all. So, yeah. But then again, I'm still reading 3 other books at the same time. So, I am who I am. Yeah, that is my review. I hope you enjoyed. See you when I see you. and take care of yourself. Hope this was an enjoyable experience for you as well. And kiss, take care of yourself, and be political. Don't trust what this guy's saying. Fuck that. No.